I'm excited.
The storm is currently approaching us. So if all the lights go out in the basement, assume that I'm dead.
Will do. Seems appropriate for the content.
Let's just get some background. How much do you know about the Magnus Archives?
I know it's a general premise. I know that people come to the Magnus Archives and they interview with John, who's the head archivist, and they tell him stories about weird supernatural things that have happened to them. And most of the time he's like, wow, that's stupid and wrong. But not all the time. And then there's the entities who are, we talked about this a little bit before, but they're like sort of aspects of fear as a whole. And there's 15 of them, and they all correlate to some other different kind of fear, which I think is neat, but also the main reason why I can't listen to the show, because if one of them doesn't scare me, another one sure will, and I can't live like that.
You do cover a broad spectrum of fear.
Yes, a broad spectrum of fear. Yeah, and so just, I know weird stuff happens. I know in season 5, they're all just sort of like wandering around.
Yeah, season 5 is basically the apocalypse.
Oh boy, oh fun. I know some of the characters. I know more about John and Martin than I do about the other ones. But yeah, that's where we're at.
I have a list here of 15 episode titles. And
excellent.
They are organized from easiest to guess what happens from the title to most difficult. We'll see how this goes. We're going to start with episode 136.
Okay, so this one is like almost identical to the Teen Titans episode with Toy Master or whatever his name is, or Puppet King with the Puppet King. Yeah, and so people find like little puppets that look like themselves, and they're like, oh, that's kind of neat, in a little Coraline, creepy sort of way. And then their souls get to go into the puppets, and their bodies are now controlled by the Puppet Master. That's what I think.
You got very close to one of the other episodes.
Oh no!
You got very close to one of the other ones on this list. The Puppeteer. I've written a short summary of each based on
perfect
wiki articles, like 20 minutes before this call started.
We love prep.
Assistant to a stop-motion animator / animatronics engineer slowly turns him into a puppet stuck to a big ceiling railing.
Oh my god.
He's got like wires in him just like up to the ceiling, and he like rolls around on this big track on the ceiling.
Oh, I hate it, whatever it is.
It's not great.
Eee. Oh, thank you.
It's kind of gross, but it is funny. Because for the clip, I got to use that one vine of the dude just, like, dangling from the ceiling while the Monsters, Inc. theme plays. What do you know about
shoot. Daisy. Okay. I know I like her.
That's good.
I think she's a cop?
Yes.
Or something. She's a cop, and she's the hunt?
She is involved with the hunt, yes.
Yeah, because the way that works is she's, like, Javering it up. I love that so much. But I know it's, like, she's great and we love her, and it's really sad that she's gone nuts.
Next up is episode 34.
There's this college, and they're doing, like, their bio class, and it's, like, a really entry-level bio class. Like, one of the ones where you're like, oh, yeah, whatever, this is, like, weird stuff. But then, like, they're doing dissections, they keep getting weirder. Is that hail? Oh, yeah, it's hailing over here. Okay.
Oh, good.
Sorry, distracted about that. Anyway, so it's, college level, entry-level anatomy class. Ones that you wouldn't expect to do, like, super in-depth stuff, but they do lots of weird dissections and things. And the subjects they keep dissecting get, like, weirder and weirder. Like, you know this is a frog, but there's something weird about it that makes it, like, not a frog. And, like, the more they do, the more you're just like, oh, geez, what are we doing? What is this? Until it's like, this used to be a person. We're not sure what it is now.
You kind of got it a little backwards. It's not the teacher or the class itself that's weird. It's the students.
Oh, no.
This one is a college professor teaches anatomy to 7 overflow students who are very clearly, like, aliens that don't know how humans work internally.
Oh, I kind of love that, though.
Yeah, they're like, how do lungs work? And then, like, as he's, like, explaining the bone structure, he just hears, like, like, behind him, and he's like, huh? And they're acting all innocent. They're, like, rearranging their bones to be more human on the inside.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And then it climaxes with them, like, sending him an apple in thanks, but the apple is full of, like, teeth instead of apple meat.
Oh, never mind.
Episode 130.
This one is the opposite of that Teen Titans episode where Beast Boy gets a job at Meaty Mart. Where instead of the meat is actually made of like alien tofu, it's like backwards. So there's this restaurant that's like serving, it's like a health food restaurant, and they're serving this like meat alternative, like jackfruit or whatever, but it's really like some form of actual meat, whether that's like human or alien or something.
There is a different episode that's not on the list that's about a restaurant that serves human meat.
Delicious.
But it's more like the dude goes crazy and like takes people hostage, and then he like cuts pieces off of them, but he has some sort of meat magic that makes them regrow their pieces.
Oh no.
In the ruins of an old church, a bunch of cultists walk back and forth between a bunch of trucks and a hole. The trucks are all full of meat, and they dump the meat from the trucks into the hole, which has a big mouth at the bottom. And the more meat they put in the hole, the mouth gets closer and closer. They are only stopped when Gertrude blows the whole place up.
Gertrude. I know her. I know she's an old lady, and I know she's scary. But I don't know if she's a bad guy or not. Is she the one who went to the Arctic with Michael?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I know she's trying to do the thing to either stop the world from ending or start the world ending.
No, she's trying to stop it.
Stop it? Okay.
She's very ruthless in her method.
So she's trying to stop it, but she's, like, really scary about it.
Episode 38.
Lost and Found is about a guy who works at a subway station. He's a guy who's in charge of like all the missing bags and whatever that are on trains. And he keeps finding like really weird things that no one can track down who they belong to. And so he goes on this whole like, oh, how do like this has a name in it, why can't we find who this belongs to? And he goes nuts.
You hit on some like similar themes with names and not being able to find people. Lost and Found, an antiques dealer buys a vase with like arms in it that drags things inside of it. He doesn't know that when he buys it. It is revealed.
Oh, good. So he's all like, and he's like, this will be a fine collection for my home.
Anything that the arms drag into the vase is forgotten by anyone who doesn't own the vase. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, so we got Junior but worse.
It's a void fish in a vase, yes.
Oh, I love it.
Like, it ends with it, like, consuming a house. He's like, I gotta track down the guy who sold me this vase, because things keep going missing and no one remembers them. And then he gets there, and it's an empty lot, and people are like, oh yeah, the lot's always been empty. Oh no, did you freeze? Uh-oh. See, you got kind of close with that one, with not being able to find someone and going crazy about it. Alright, next up, episode 18.
This one is either, from a more literal sense, it's about somebody who's living in somebody else's house without them knowing about it, and so like they'll catch like things that are moved slightly that they know they didn't put somewhere, and so they're trying to figure out what happened and try to catch him, but they can't find him. In a more metaphorical sense, this is somebody who is in a state of religious fervor and believes they have messages from God, and it goes about as well as you would expect.
Okay, so you kind of hit on some themes of a different episode with that crisis of faith stuff.
Oh boy.
About a priest getting like tempted to succumb to a demon, basically.
Oh, so like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Kinda.
Except but worse.
Instead of like murder, it's cannibalism.
Pourquoi?
You know, like how communion is consuming the flesh of Christ.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
The man upstairs is about a dude in an apartment building, and he hears mysterious hammering noises from the apartment, like above, from the upstairs tenants, and there's like strange stains and odors sort of spreading around from the room. And eventually he goes in there, and he finds that like meat has been hammered and just attached to every single surface in the apartment.
There's a lot of meat in these
The flesh is
episodes.
a problem. The flesh
that's one of the entities. Oh.
Flesh is not great. I'm glad we haven't been to Flesh World yet in season 5, because that's not going to be fun.
Okay, I know that the guy who wrote the podcast is also named Jonathan Sims, yes. But he goes by Johnny. They call it to differentiate. He's Johnny, I think, and the character is John. He's the head archivist. He's the avatar of the Watcher.
Yes.
Whatever the eyeball one is. He had that really cool scene, which is like, ceaseless watcher, turn your gaze upon this wretched thing, which is the dopest thing I've ever heard. Somebody made little booty. Yes. Somebody made booty shorts with it on it, and I want them. I don't even go here, but I want them. Yeah, so he's a head archivist, I think. He's got eyeballs all over his body.
Not like literally. That's a fan interpretation.
Okay.
His relationship with the eye.
Yeah, and Martin is his boyfriend. I know he's asexual also. I don't know if that's canon, but I know.
I think like other characters in the show speculate.
Okay, I know he's asexual because I remember being like, "Oh, that's cool."
Lights just flickered. That's bad. Okay.
Ooh.
Episode 121.
Okay, this one's like an It Follows situation. This guy's walking. No, it's a girl. This girl's walking around, and there's a man behind her, so far enough away that she can't really make out any details about him or who he is, but she like it's just a man, and he keeps following her and watching her, but it's never close enough that she can like pick up any details, can't identify anything far enough away that she can't really 100% be sure that he is following her or that's the same guy, but that's what I think that one is.
I'm kind of surprised that's not an episode.
That would be good. That would be scary.
It is, yeah.
Listen, you change that ST demon, it's gone. It's not an ST demon anymore. It doesn't, I don't know how it decides who it latches onto, but it's always a female victim, and it's always at night, and that sense of terror you get when you're walking home alone at night, and there's somebody following you, and you don't know who they are, and you don't know if they're actually following you, or if they're just back there, and it's just this like, it'd be great.
It would be.
I'd say hire me, except clearly everything in this episode is way scarier than anything I could come up with.
I don't know about this one. A guy who can see when and how people are about to die. He's a sort of semi-recurring character. I don't know if you're familiar with.
There was an episode of Haven with somebody like that. Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard Oliver Banks. That was his name.
Oh, I know that name. Yes.
Yeah, it's him.
He accidentally became an avatar.
Yes. He can see when and how people die. He hijacks a boat to try and go to the place farthest away from human civilization, so he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. And then when he gets there, a satellite falls out of orbit and onto the boat, killing everyone but him. They never explain how he survives the boat exploding from a satellite, or how he gets to where he is, but okay.
Yeah, I remember someone wrote a post. It's like, I'm absolutely obsessed with this man. Like, I didn't realize he was from Magnus Archives.
Episode 24.
So this one is about someone who hears music playing in their dorm at college. It's they're pretty sure it's just another music student, but it's always like a different instrument, and they're like, that's weird, how do you have so many of them? It's all pretty music, but it's kind of weird and like a little deja vu-y. So at one point the student goes to sort of check it out, be like, hey, what are you playing? Like, what song is that? And it's all instruments made out of people.
Ah.
That's where these things go, right? It's all made. Everything's made out of people.
Everything's people. The Magnus Archive.
Magnus Archives. It's all people.
So this is the one that you almost got with Puppeteer.
Oh.
The granddaughter of a carny inherits his spooky clown organ, Calliope or whatever it's called, and a whole bunch of dolls. And all the dolls have their lower jaws removed except for one, which is a clown doll. And then she plays the organ, and the clown doll kind of like moves when she's not looking at it. And eventually, her boyfriend dies. He has his lower jaw removed, just like the dolls, and she sees the clown is next to a doll that looks exactly like her boyfriend. That did not exist in the trunk previously.
Thanks, I hate it.
Great.
Oh, Sasha. I know I like her. I know I like Sasha. I know she's great. I know she gets replaced by not Sasha, like something in the form of Sasha. I don't know what that thing is. I know it gets obliterated.
It sure does.
And it rules. But yeah, I don't know anything about her. I know she's one of the early archivists, so I know it's like her and Martin and Tim and John early on. I don't know anything about her. I don't know if she's an avatar, or if she was an avatar of anything. I don't know.
Not.
Okay. I figured probably not, because she gets not Sasha. But yeah, I don't know what kills her. None of them
start as monsters except for Elias.
Oh yeah, I hate him. I have a feeling we'll come back to him later, but I don't like that man.
Actually, I did not have a character quiz for Elias.
Oh, okay. Time for me to yell about Elias. I don't know. I know he's immortal. I know he sucks. I know he is like, he's in charge of the archives, I think. Yes. I don't know why he's in charge of the archives. I know he's sort of trying to get the world to not be.
He is the one who ended the world at the end of season 4 and made everything hell in season 5. Because basically,
wow, what a bastard.
Like, man, all these entities are trying to end the world by themselves, but they're not going to do it. So what if I just get one guy to experience all of the horrors, and that one person is Jonathan?
Oh, buddy.
So that's why he kept, like, sicking him or just, like, leading him around to all these, to experience the horrors of all the other entities. And then there's this whole ritual that happens, and he uses the collected experiences of Jonathan to end the world.
Oh, no.
So, yeah,
I hate him.
He just pointed out.
I've seen a lot of comics of everyone time traveling back, like Martin and John time traveling back to yell at Tim and Sasha and whoever else is working with them, and like past Martin and past John to be like, hey, Elias is the bad guy. Let's go kick his ass. And they do, and it's great.
There was a portion in, I think, season 3 or 4 where Melanie just like freaking freaks out and just keeps trying to casually murder Elias in the office. It's freaking great.
Oh.
It's like, here's your tea. It's poisoned, isn't it? It's freaking great. It's like, I love that extremely casually trying to murder him.
We stand. We have no choice. We have no choice but to stand.
Episode 57.
Okay, this one is about someone who is a extreme hypochondriac, very certain that they're sick, very germophobic, terrified of being around other people because those other people are sick and coughing, and it kind of like just spirals in like a Telltale Heart sort of way, like where they just keep thinking about it, and like somebody like brushes up against them and they don't have whatever it is that they clean themselves off with, and they just fixated on it.
Again, very close to an episode that's not on this list. Personal Space is about an astronaut.
The opposite!
They go up onto a privately owned space station, which turns out to basically be like a cult fear generator. Like there's 3 different people out there all experiencing different entity-based horrors, and this one is all about like isolation.
Oh, is this The Lonely?
Like he looks out the window and just the earth and the sun are gone. It's just void. and like his food keeps replenishing, and there's just no one there. He's trapped up there, and eventually he tries to like starve himself to death, and then he just wakes up back on Earth. He did mention he was paid in full for his work, though. That's nice. That's nice of people to pay him. I was very confused when I saw the episode description. I was like, space station? What? It's been in like normal London this whole time. What?
Yeah. See, I thought this was gonna be like when you said space station, I thought it was gonna be like a international space station, and he just like broke off and he's just floating.
That was a different one. That one was the astronaut that got sacrificed to the void, to the vast rather, not the lonely.
Oh.
Yeah, that again, you were close.
Man, the vast is one that I don't think, it doesn't always bother me. Like just the concept of it isn't one that I'm like, oh, that's scary. But then like any like real life application of it, I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, it's not scary until it starts talking about fear of heights, and then it gets scary.
That one's not as. I mean, I'm more scared of falling.
Like the guy who was skydiving and then just keeps falling for hours.
I would have passed out. I mean, bold of me to assume I would make it past the 30-second mark of skydiving.
Yes. That's fair.
But if I passed out, woke up, and I was still falling, I'd be like, either I've been out for no time at all.
5 seconds.
Like just a split second, and I blacked out. Or what if I blacked out and the sun was in a different spot? I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, the vast isn't a problem until it's a very, very large problem.
Yeah. Hey!
Episode 98.
This one is about somebody who had an accident and recently became blind. And so they're trying to find their way around the house. And then everything just sort of starts moving in their apartment, just like a little bit, to the point where like they'll start like running into things they didn't normally used to run into, but they don't live with anybody. And it is a horrible little goblin man who's been living in their house, and just sort of like, you know that scene in Spider-Verse where they're like shifting up on the ceiling away from the kid? It's exactly like that.
You're very good at stuff that is like inflicting paranoia.
I think those are the ones that would scare me the most, because these are the ones that I'm like, oh, that would be scary.
Again, you were kind of close with the themes of blindness. So, a doctor, after outbidding Maxwell Rayner, I don't know if you know him.
I don't.
He's like he's like the Avatar of the Dark. And he's blind. We'll get back to him later. So a doctor outbids Maxwell Rayner for some old documents, and he basically curses him. And then later, the doctor is...
He curses Maxwell, or Maxwell curses the doctor?
Maxwell curses the doctor, because the doctor
fantastic.
him for documents. And then he's visited by the Sandman, who, according to a nursery rhyme that he happened to hear earlier, is a birdman that lives on the moon, and it vomits black sand that just kind of eats light. And then he escapes the Sandman by using some of its own sand to blind himself.
Excuse me? Martin! I love him. I love Martin. He's great. As I mentioned before, he is friend-shaped. Mm-hmm. He is, great. He lies about lots of things. I know Martin is involved with the Lonely. I don't know if he's an avatar of the Lonely or not, but I know.
Was. Well, the avatar of the Lonely tried to make him the new avatar of the Lonely.
And he was like, no, thank you.
Not for a while. That's what he kept lying about.
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't reject the Lonely till like the end of season 4.
Oh, dang.
He rejected the Lonely and everything was turning out great. And then he and John were like in a cabin together. And then Elias did the ritual that ended the world. So
no.
You think it's going to be a happy ending. Get kicked in the face.
I know he's dating John. I know they're great. Very much a Sam and Frodo vibe with the two of them.
Kind of, like, especially now they're like walking through hell.
Yeah, but like dating. And I know he's like super big on like, John, please don't use your eye powers to know everything about me.
But please do use your eye powers to blow people up.
Yeah, please do.
All right, episode 65.
Either this is like a Gemini Man situation where someone finds their doppelganger like wandering around and is like, hey, what the heck is this? What's going on here? And it's either a demon of some kind, or a shapeshifter, alien, or them from the future. I don't know. But that's one option. The other option is someone with a very severe, like, black and white mentality is trying to sort people into, like, categories. This compulsive sorting, kind of like vampires do, how they have to count things.
Yes.
And then something pops up that they couldn't account for, and they have to, like, redo their whole calculation. The third one is this is a computer. This is actually just all my CS friends. The computer program doesn't work, or it works and it does something it's not supposed to. And they're like, hey, what the heck? Why doesn't it do the thing I told it to do? And they go in and they try to figure out what they did. And they're like, oh, that's a simple switch. And they fix it, and then it doesn't work again. And they're like, what? And it's always, no matter what they do, there's always a missing end bracket.
You're close with the computer one.
Nice.
There are multiple computer episodes. That one's closer to a different computer one that keeps happening, where something keeps going wrong with the site. Except that one, like, 6 spiders on people somehow. It's called web development. You were also close with the first one. 2 different episodes. There's like 5 different episodes where people find doppelgangers because the stranger has a theme, and
oh, that makes sense. Okay.
There's a lot of kill and replace with the stranger.
Yeah,
but in this
that makes
case,
sense.
Binary. A computer scientist downloads a file on the deep web that somehow ends up replacing every screen they ever see with an unstoppable 17-hour-long video of a Russian man eating a computer. I know, it's hilarious. Like, he was like, I can put my brain on the internet, and then this was his method, I guess. They try to make...
So what happens after the 17 hours? Does it loop?
No, after the 17 hours, she is free of the curse. But she has to sit down and watch all 17 hours in a row of him just slowly eating a computer. They try really hard.
Can you imagine if it was like a GIF? And you watch it, or like the world's longest vine, and she watches it, and she's like, oh, okay, thank God it's over. And then it starts up again.
Next up, episode 53.
I'm gonna say this is another, like, Javert style The Hunt one. This one is sort of like a vigilante, where this person had a family member or something who was killed in, like, a hit and run accident, and so they're going through trying to find who did it, but it kind of ends with them stopping every kind of this car, like, I'm gonna say like a red Ford Taurus or something, and just, like, beating the life out of whoever's driving it, regardless of whether that's who it is or not. I'm so wrong.
Crusader. It's a very misleading title. It's about a World War II soldier who was injured in battle, and the kind of tank that he was in was called a Crusader.
Okay.
Operation Crusader, which is some World War II thing.
Okay.
And then he gets injured, and he goes back home, and then he accidentally finds an ancient eyeball temple that may or may not be the, like, medieval equivalent of the archives.
What? Wild. Absolutely insane.
It was just there to establish that the archives have been a thing for a long time.
Yeah,
like okay. The mummy of some, like, knight from way back when.
Ooh. I like Michael. I don't know if I'm supposed to like Michael. He's terrifying. I should preface this. He is like a distortion. Distortion?
He is a distortion.
Okay.
Like, that was the title of the episode that he first showed up in. There is not an entity called the Distortion. I'm pretty sure the associated entity is the Spiral.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He has the most disgustingly long fingers, and that's coming from me, who has really long fingers, but mine are pretty. I know he is, he went with Gertrude to the Arctic. I don't know what happened there. I think she maybe made him into a distortion. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yes.
But he's with the spiral. In my brain, he's always kind of like that Tom and Jerry meme where it's Jerry wearing the straw hat, like sneaking in the door, where he's like,
"That's Tom."
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, Tom. Duh. Yeah. I'm not all there today. Yeah, no. So it's just Tom.
You're right, though.
And he just like sneaks in. He's like, "Hi guys," and I'm like, "Michael, no." And no one like super likes having him around because he's creepy and bad to look at, like a Monster Factory character. Yeah. I'm thinking like I'm kind of the proportions of the Pebble.
I can see that. Yeah.
He's just kind of bad to look at, but yes. The concept of this dude just showing up and being like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" and like completely harmless other than the fact that he's so bad to look at is very funny to me. It feels like a Monster Factory video and I love it. And were it not for the fact that this is a horror podcast, I would think it was very good.
We're getting to the real weird title plot relations now.
Oh no.
Episode 140.
This is another religious fervor one. It's different from the other one I did wrong. This one is about one of those like people on the sidewalk who like keeps yelling like, "Repent, you're going to hell," or whatever, but keeps hearing like the super loud blaring trumpets of heaven, but it gets like it's just unending trumpet music, so they can't even do anything. Like it's just debilitating trumpets in your ear all the time, like that meme of the girl going like this and her brother with the trombone. It's just that.
This is more of an astronomical thing than a religious thing.
Oh, okay. That tracks.
This is the reveal that Maxwell Rayner, that blind dark avatar that I mentioned before, he's actually Edmund Halley, like Halley's Comet.
The Comet Man?
He was the Comet Man, and his astronomer mentor was so pissed that he went behind his back with Isaac Newton to post star charts without his permission, that when he found out that he was already a cultist of the dark, he tried to drown him in a pool of magic darkness, and it made him blind and kind of immortal. And that's why he's an avatar now.
You're right. There's absolutely no way I would have guessed that at all.
Obviously, this character I barely know about is actually a very famous astronomer.
Oh, certainly. The one who you asked, "Do I know about this man?" And I said, "Who?"
Next up, episode 114.
This one is about a home, like a code guy. I should know what these are. They come in and they're checking the house. It's relatively farther along. Like we'll say like envelope is on. They're just getting like the interior stuff now. And they go down to the basement to check everything. And the basement floor looks different than it did the last time. And they're like, "Hey, that's weird. Did you guys add something? Did you have to like change something based on the things?" And they're like, "Nope, we don't know what that is. We don't know what's going on. That's how it's always been." And the guy's like, "That's wrong." Long story short, they killed the last inspector and buried him in the concrete.
This one is a lot more supernatural than that. That could be just like a crime novel thriller. This one, a house cleaner working in a spooky empty house gets pulled into a mysterious crack in the basement and wakes up in an alternate dimension, which is this one, because she's never heard of the archives, even though she's lived there, like, in the area where it was for most of her life.
Is she from our world, then?
Maybe. Like, all we know is she went into that house on April 23rd, went into the crack, and then she came out on April 8th in a world where, like, everything's different.
Wild.
You would not guess that from the title Cracked Foundation.
No, but it makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, is she dating Daisy?
I think that's implied. I don't know if they've confirmed that, like they have with Martin and John.
Is she the one who's with the slaughter?
No, Melanie got infected by the slaughter. That's when she started trying to casually murder.
Right. Which one is Basira?
She's not an avatar, I don't think.
She's not. Okay.
Yeah, Basira is a cop.
Oh, okay, so they work together.
Yeah, she works with Daisy.
Okay.
I don't know if they've confirmed that they are a thing, but I think it's
They're
important.
partners, but are they partners? Wink,
That is
wink.
the question.
Wink, wink, wink.
We got 2 more to go.
Okay.
Episode 42.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say this one is about, but it's one of those like where you're hitchhiking and you pick up somebody and they're like not really who they say they are, and either you realize that they've been dead the whole time, or they're a horrible serial killer. Like by the time he realizes something's up, it's too late, and he's either careening off the cliff edge, or he can't move because he's been paralyzed, or his hands are gone.
So Grifter's bone is not literal. A music blogger tracks down a concert by the band Grifter's Bone, by a man named Alfred Grifter, who made a deal with the devil to be good at music, but messed up the ritual. So now anyone who hears his band perform goes crazy and kills people.
Oh, yeah, someone had that's what it was. I'm almost certain somebody drew fan art of somebody in a Grifter's Bone t-shirt. What did you use for that one?
An episode of Scooby-Doo where there was a band full of undead ska members who come back for revenge.
Oh my god.
Last episode, number 133.
So I want to say for this one, it's this guy, the marriage counselor, who was seeing these two people. It was sort of going, and then one of them stopped coming in because of work reasons, and he was like, okay, whatever. And the more that he talks to the other guy, he realizes that he killed his spouse and has been coming to marriage counseling about just conversations he's had with her corpse just sitting in the apartment.
Not quite. You're kind of on track with the theme of like
okay,
up with something even though it's useless. A 1930s explorer goes to like the Amazon or something in search of a lost city, and then he gets stuck in this weird jungle limbo dimension with a bunch of other long lost explorers who are, even by the 30s, long dead. And they are all chasing this one objective that is supposedly, it's right around the corner, they're gonna get it. They keep walking through the jungle, and it's not gonna happen. He knows. They've been there for what feels like years, and they're constantly attacked by vampires.
Oh my lord. Vampires?
Well, this universe's version of vampires, which are like mosquito people.
Oh, fantastic. I love it.
Vampires keep coming up. I don't know why they're here.
I love that.
Eventually he just figures out, like, this isn't happening. I need to go. And, like, the rest of his crew that came with him are just lost to the limbo dimension.
Oh, dang. Tim's the hot one.
The hot one does not narrow it down, because I'm pretty sure every fan artist has imagined every character in this show as
certainly, yes. But Tim's the one who's like generally, like someone asked, where's your attractive, someone asked John, where's your attractive coworker? And he said, oh, Martin. And they were like, no, no. And he was like, Tim? Question mark? And it stuck with people apparently. Anyway, yeah, I know he kind of like, he's super funny. He like ribs on the other people there. He's super great, very friendly, does his job, but like is chill about it. I know he's dead. I don't know how he died. I know he's dead. I know he was one of the original ones with Sasha, but I don't know too much else about him other than I like him and he's funny and he's no longer with us.
So yeah, you did pretty good. That would be decent episodes.
Yeah, I got none of the summaries right, but
again, so these are impossible to guess.
Oh, how on earth was I gonna guess the Hallie one? Who? I did okay on the characters, I think.
Yeah,
I know character stuff because again, I don't super latch onto the scary story part because that no thank you. But I like the characters and that's what I pick up the fastest. What else? There's one other thing I want to talk about. Oh, Jane Prentice the Worm Lady.
Yes.
I have opinions. I don't know if they're right. But
What
someone drew her with the worms on the string, and it was funny.